So in order to show you the solution, I have already copied the existing code from the previous video. So now we are going to do some modifications. First of all, as I said, I want to make this application, I want to extend it to an online application. So let's give this a name. Let's call this Itman, okay? So this is our online application, the name of it. Okay, so this is one. So now we have this class Itman. So as you can see, we have an order and we have a call function, we have a sushi and a tavkosi. So these two functions actually should not be part of this class because sushi is just for the Chinese restaurant, tavkosi is just for the Albanian restaurant, right? And imagine that if we go and we extend this to a vegan restaurant, then we have to add another function for the vegan restaurant. So this is not good. So what I'm going to do is to actually delete the sushi and the tavkosi functions and of course the call function. So for now, we just have the order. The next step is to create an interface. So I will create an interface and I will call this order interface. In order to understand that this is an interface, make sure you say at the end interface. So other programmers now know that this class is an interface, okay? So order interface. So this order interface will include three basic functions, okay? So one is call, the other one is cook, and for the cook we are going to take a food actually. And the last one will be details. Let's say that we also have to pass some details, and let's say that this is the node. Of course, this has to be an interface and not a class, and we are good. So this order interface will be used right here inside the order function. So instead of asking for the type, we are going to ask for the order. The order can be anything, okay? So the next step is to call the function. So order call, order cook. For the cook, we are going to do some other stuff though, and order details. Okay, so I will also remove this part of the switch statement because, as we said, we do not want a switch statement in our project. So cook and details. So what I'm going to do is to actually create a protected variable food and another one for the details. Now, by using a constructor, I'm going to initialize them. So food, details, by default, it will be empty. So by default, we do not have any detail. So food equals to food and details equals to details. Okay. So of course, we have to pass this food and these details in our functions. Excellent. So this is the main class that takes the interface and it executes all the functions that we had previously, and of course we added these details, which is a new one. So since we removed the switch statement, let's go back to the switch statement, okay, for a moment. So the switch statement, it had some cases. So we had a Chinese case and an Albanian case. So what I'm going to do, instead of having them as a case, I'm going to actually create a class for each case. So Albanian and Chinese. Okay. So for the Albanian now, we are going to first of all implement the order interface, and by default we have to implement all the functions that come with it. So here we have the call, cook, and details. So in case you want to call in the Albanian restaurant, then we are going to echo calling, let's say again 901.111.11, just a random number. And for the cook, we are going to echo cooking, some, and the name of the food. Okay, for the details, we are just going to echo the node. Okay. So I'm going to do the same for the Chinese restaurant. So just copy this, go to the Chinese class and paste them and implement the order interface. Okay, so they actually look pretty similar. So the advantage of this is that if you want to make a change, you do not have to go to the switch statement, right? Because now you know exactly what you have. So you have the Chinese class, you have the Albanian class. So if for any case you want to change the phone number, then you just go to the class that you want to change, you change the phone number, and that's all. Previously, with the switch statement, you actually had to go inside the restaurant class and make the change inside the switch statement, which was very bad because you do not want to do modifications in that way. So keep everything in a class and with functions that are actually connected to this class, because the restaurant class earlier was very generic. Here now you have specifically the Chinese class, the Albanian class, or any kind of cuisine that you want to add, like Italian, French, whatever. So you see now the power of avoiding the switch statement and moving to polymorphism by having multiple classes for each cuisine. So the next step is now to go back to the index, and this time I'm going to autoload my classes. So class name, include class name .php. Okay, so let's say, imagine that we actually use something like Laravel as a framework. So with Laravel you get a request, and the request, let's say that it has cuisine equals to the type of the cuisine that you want. Okay, let's say Chinese in this case. So this is the request that you get from a front-end application or from Laravel, like the Blade template engine or whatever. So you get this request, and now you go down here in order to create your order. So let's say that we want sushi, and in terms of details, so we can actually keep this empty, but let's add some details. Please make it great. Of course, sushi is great by default, but yeah, whatever. So the next step now is to actually go to the order, because remember, the order now is asking for the order interface, and because Albanian cuisine and the Chinese cuisine, classes, they implement the order interface, we can actually go here and say new request, and we are going to take whatever the value is inside here. Okay, so we are going to use the request and take the value that is inside this array. So this is the key, this is the value. So inside this cuisine key we have the Chinese value. Okay, so actually if I go here and I run this, as you can see, it says calling this number, cooking some sushi, please make it great. So it executes everything perfectly fine. The only difference, the only change that I want to make is to add a new line here. Okay, now it looks better. So calling this number, cooking some sushi, which is exactly what the client wants, and then please make it great. However, we do have a problem here, because if I say here Albanian, okay, and I'm asking for sushi, well, this will work, right? So you get the number, you get cooking some sushi, and please make it great. However, the Albanian cuisine should not cook sushi, right? So again, I need a new line here. Okay, so the Albanian cuisine should not cook sushi, because sushi is not Albanian. So what I'm going to do is to create a menu array here, and I will add all the menu for this cuisine. So in our case, for this cuisine, we just have tavakosi, which, by the way, if you have not tried this, please try it because it is amazing. Now, instead of just echoing cooking some food, we're going to go here. So if in array food and then this menu. So if the food that the client is asking is inside our menu, which this is our menu, remember, then we are going to echo cooking some food. However, otherwise we are going to throw a new exception with a message, let's say food not available. Okay, so I'm going to do this for the Chinese cuisine as well, and we are going to need the menu here. So protected menu equals to sushi. Okay, as you can see, again, they look very similar, the Albanian and the Chinese cuisine. So if I now go back to this and I try to run this, take a look. We throw an exception that says food not available. There is a problem, however, that we are still calling the number, but who cares? Because you're calling to that restaurant, you are asking for sushi, and they tell you that, hey, this is an Albanian restaurant, we do not make sushi. So in terms of logic, this is still right, even if we call the number and then make the food. The logic here is still correct. And of course, if I say Chinese and we are asking for whatever, okay, it doesn't really matter. Again, it is going to throw an exception because this food is not part of the Chinese menu. Okay, so if you now want to add a new type of cuisine, all you have to do is to create a new class with the name of the cuisine, like Albanian, for example, implement the order interface, have the menu, and that's all. You do not have to go to a switch statement and do these kind of modifications. Now everything is very clear because inside this index we are actually doing all the work by creating the Eatman application and then ordering whatever we want. So yeah, in terms of extending the application in the future, this is extremely easy. Just create a new class for the restaurant that you want, and that's all.